Hello, everyone, said Daniel Reed, his voice calm yet powerful. Welcome to Inspire English, where English becomes exciting. Today, you're not just watching a video. You're stepping into a new reality. He looked into the camera, his eyes full of intent. If you listen carefully, this could be the moment that changes your life forever. I'm here to tell you something no one else will tell you, something that could ignite a fire in your soul. He paused. Let me ask you a question, he said softly. Are you happy with your life right now? If you died tomorrow, would you be proud of what you've achieved? A silence followed, as if he wanted the listener or himself to truly think. If your answer is no, Daniel continued, then this is your wake-up call. Because let me tell you, your life isn't going to change by accident. It's not going to improve by luck. The life you want will only come when you decide to change it. He leaned forward. Stop living in excuses, he said. You've been making excuses for too long. I'm too young. I'm too old. I don't have money. I don't have time. Let me tell you something. Excuses are nothing but lies you tell yourself to avoid taking responsibility. Daniel's tone sharpened. Do you know why most people fail? It's not because they're unlucky. It's not because they're not smart enough. It's because they don't take action. They sit around complaining about their problems instead of solving them. He paused again, then smiled slightly. You think successful people had it easy? Let me give you an example. He lifted his hand as if introducing someone to the stage. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty and faced unimaginable hardships. She was told she wouldn't make it, but she didn't listen. She worked hard, stayed focused, and became one of the most influential people in the world. Daniel looked straight into the lens. Now what's stopping you? Nothing but your own mindset. He walked slowly to the side of the stage, his voice lowering. Imagine the life you could have. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up in the morning in a beautiful home, the home of your dreams. You look outside, and there's a luxury car parked in your driveway. Your parents are smiling because they know they don't have to worry about anything anymore. You've taken care of them. You've given them the life they deserve, the life they dreamed of for you, when they work hard every single day to provide for you. Daniel's voice softened. Now open your eyes. Does this feel impossible? It's not. This life is achievable, but it requires one thing, your commitment to change. He raised his finger. Your habits shape your future. Let me be brutally honest with you. Your habits are either making you or breaking you. If you spend hours every day watching Netflix, scrolling through Instagram, or playing video games, you're literally throwing your future away. Time is the most valuable resource you have. Every second you waste is a second you'll never get back. He took a deep breath. Do you know what separates successful people from unsuccessful ones? Successful people use their time wisely. They read books, learn new skills, and work on their dreams while everyone else is wasting time. Then Daniel's voice softened again. Think about your parents for a moment. Your mother carried you in her womb for 9 months. She sacrificed her sleep, her health, and her dreams to give you life. Your father worked day and night to put food on the table, to give you an education, to make sure you had a chance to succeed. And now it's your turn. What are you doing to give back to them? Don't you want to see them happy? Don't you want to give them the life they've always dreamed of? He smiled warmly. Imagine the look on your mother's face when you hand her the keys to her dream house. Imagine the tears in your father's eyes when you tell him he doesn't have to work another day because you got it covered. This isn't just about money, he added. It's about giving them peace, happiness, and the pride of knowing their child made it. Daniel stood tall again and said, Success requires sacrifice. He let the silence hang in the air, and the audience knew this was only the beginning. A few days later, Daniel Reed sat alone in his small apartment. The city outside was alive with noise, cars honking, people rushing to work. But inside, there was silence. Only the ticking of the clock filled the room. He looked around, a plain desk, an old chair, a cracked phone screen, and a notebook filled with unfinished goals. He sighed. Enough is enough, he whispered to himself. I can't keep living like this. For years, Daniel had dreamed of becoming fluent in English. He had watched others succeed, people who spoke confidently, who traveled the world, who worked online and earned in dollars. while he stayed stuck, afraid to even start. Every time he tried to learn, he gave up after a few weeks. Sometimes it was because of work. Sometimes it was laziness. And sometimes he just didn't believe he could do it. But that night felt different. Something inside him had changed after hearing his own words echo in his mind. Your life isn't going to change by accident. He opened his notebook again, tore out an old page, and wrote in bold letters, "From today, no excuses." He made a plan. He wrote, "Learn English 1 hour every morning. Watch motivational videos only in English. Speak English every day, no matter what. Stop wasting time on useless things." Then he took his phone, deleted all the gaming apps, and unfollowed people who made him feel unmotivated. As he looked at his new to-do list, a small smile appeared on his face. This time, he said quietly, "I'll do it, even if it's hard." The next morning, he woke up early, before sunrise. For the first time in months, he didn't hit the snooze button. He sat by the window with a cup of tea and opened an English book. The words looked difficult. He couldn't understand many of them, but he didn't stop. He read slowly, repeating the sentences out loud. "Every great journey begins with a single step," he read. He smiled. "Then this is my first step." For the next few weeks, Daniel followed his plan with full focus. He practiced speaking to himself in the mirror. He listened to English podcasts while traveling to work. He even started writing short notes in English on sticky papers and posted them on the wall. "Don't give up. You're improving. Keep going." Some days were easy. Some days were tough. There were moments when he wanted to quit again, when the words felt too hard, when he felt too tired after work. But then he remembered why it started. For his parents, for his dreams, for the life he wanted. And that reminder pushed him forward every single time. One evening, while walking home, Daniel saw a group of tourists asking for directions in English. Normally, he would walk past quietly, but this time he stopped. "Can I help you?" he said, his voice nervous but clear. The tourist smiled with relief. "Yes, please. We're trying to find the city museum." Daniel took a deep breath and replied, "Go straight from here, then turn left near the coffee shop. The museum is next to the park." They thanked him and left. As they walked away, Daniel felt something powerful. Confidence. He couldn't stop smiling. "I did it," he whispered. "I really spoke English and they understood me." That small moment, that simple conversation, became the spark that changed everything. He realized it wasn't about being perfect. It was about progress, about showing up every day, even when it was uncomfortable. That night, he wrote one more sentence in his notebook. Weeks passed, and Daniel's small daily habits slowly began to change his life. He was no longer wasting hours scrolling on his phone or complaining about how hard English was. Every morning started with his new routine, reading, listening, and speaking. But it wasn't easy. Sometimes, after a long day at work, his mind felt tired. He would sit down to study and feel like giving up again. "Why am I doing this?" he would ask himself. "Maybe I'm just not smart enough." One night, when his energy was low, his friend Lucas called him. "Hey, Daniel, we're going out tonight. Let's relax, man. You've been studying too much." Daniel looked at his open notebook. He really wanted to go, but something inside him said no. "Thanks, Lucas," he replied, "but not tonight. I've got something important to finish." Lucas laughed. "Come on, you can study tomorrow." Daniel smiled. "I've been saying that for years. Tonight, I keep my promise." After ending the call, Daniel sat down and opened a YouTube video, an English listening practice. At first, he could understand only a few words, but slowly, things started making sense. He noticed that his brain was catching patterns, connecting sounds and meanings. Every week, he improved a little more. He started shadowing, repeating every word the speaker said in real time. It was awkward at first, but it helped him gain confidence. One morning, he looked in the mirror and said out loud, "Good morning, Daniel. You're becoming fluent. You're not the same person anymore." He laughed at himself. It sounded funny, but deep down he felt proud. At work, his boss, Mr. Carter, noticed his effort. You're improving your English, aren't you? The boss said one afternoon. Yes, sir, Daniel replied. I'm trying to practice every day. That's good, Mr. Carter nodded. Keep going. It will open many doors for you. Those words gave Daniel a new kind of motivation. He began setting bigger goals, like joining an online English group, talking to people from other countries, and even thinking about applying for an international job. There were still bad days. Sometimes he mispronounced words, forgot grammar rules, or couldn't understand fast speakers. But instead of quitting, he learned to laugh about it. Once, while speaking online with a foreign friend, he accidentally said, "I'm boring," instead of "I'm bored." His friend laughed kindly and said, "Don't worry, we all make mistakes." Daniel laughed too. "At least I'm learning through my mistakes," he replied. That night, he wrote in his notebook again. Every mistake is a step forward. He began to love the process more than the result. It wasn't about being perfect anymore. It was about being consistent. And day by day, Daniel was changing, not just in language, but in confidence, patience, and mindset. Months passed, and Daniel had now built a strong rhythm in his life. What once felt impossible had become part of his daily routine. He no longer had to force himself to study. He actually enjoyed it. He started waking up before sunrise, making a cup of coffee, and sitting by the window with his English notes. Sometimes he listened to podcasts. Sometimes he read short stories aloud. And sometimes he simply watched motivational videos and repeated every sentence word for word. He loved the feeling of progress, small, steady, and real. One evening, while returning from work, Daniel stopped at a park. He sat on a bench and opened a small notebook, the same one he had used from the start. Flipping through its pages, he saw his old notes, the early struggles, and the promises he had written to himself. From today, no excuses. Fluency begins when fear ends. He smiled quietly. "You really did it," he whispered. Just then, an older man sat beside him, Mr. Harris, a retired teacher who often visited the park. "You look thoughtful today," Mr. Harris said with a smile. Daniel nodded. "I was just thinking about how much has changed. A few months ago, I couldn't even introduce myself in English properly. Now I can talk for hours." "That's wonderful," said Mr. Harris. "But tell me what made you change." Daniel thought for a moment. "I realized that no one was coming to save me. I had to take responsibility for my own dreams." The old man smiled warmly. "That's a powerful lesson. Most people wait for the right time, but the right time is now." Those words stayed in Daniel's mind. He began recording short English videos online, simple ones where he practiced speaking. At first, he was nervous. His voice shook and he made mistakes. But instead of deleting them, he posted them anyway. To his surprise, people started commenting, "You're improving fast." "Thanks. Your video motivated me to start learning too. You speak clearly and confidently. Keep going." Daniel couldn't believe it. His small effort was now inspiring others. Day after day, he kept posting. He shared stories about his journey, tips about learning, and even his mistakes. He wasn't trying to be perfect. He was trying to be real. At his workplace, people noticed the change too. One of his colleagues, Emma, said, "Daniel, your confidence is different these days. You used to be so quiet." Daniel smiled. "Maybe I just stopped doubting myself." Later that week, his boss called him into the office. "Daniel," said Mr. Carter, "we have a client from London visiting next month. I want you to help with communication. You're the best person for it." Daniel froze for a second. "Me?" "Yes, you. You've worked hard and your English is good enough now." He walked out of the office feeling proud, but nervous. He practiced every day for that meeting, learning formal phrases, pronunciation, and business vocabulary. The night before the meeting, he sat at his desk, whispered to himself, "You're ready, Daniel. You've earned this." The next day, when the foreign client arrived, Daniel welcomed him confidently. "Good morning, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'll be assisting you today." They spoke for hours about the project, and everything went smoothly. When it was over, the client smiled and said, "You speak English very well. I'm impressed." Those words hit Daniel like music. All the late nights, all the self-doubt, all the hard work. It was worth it. That evening, he walked home under the streetlights with a smile on his face. For the first time in his life, he wasn't dreaming of change. He was living it. He realized something important. Success doesn't come from luck or talent. It comes from persistence, from showing up every day, even when no one's watching. When he got home, he took his notebook again and wrote one last line on the final page. I didn't just learn English. I learned to believe in myself. Time passed, and Daniel's journey continued to grow beyond what he'd ever imagined. He wasn't just learning English anymore. He was living with purpose. What started as a quiet promise to himself had now turned into a movement. Every morning, Daniel would wake up early, look in the mirror, and remind himself, I am not who I was yesterday. I am stronger. I am wiser. I am becoming the best version of myself. He began helping others who struggled just like he once did. He started an online page called The Rising Voice, where he uploaded motivational lessons in English. He didn't care about being perfect. He cared about being real. He shared stories of his failure, the fear of speaking, the nights of doubt, and how every little step mattered. People from all over the world started following him, from India, Brazil, Egypt, Pakistan, and beyond. They sent him messages like, your words gave me hope. Because of you, I started speaking English again. You reminded me that I can change my life. Daniel read each message with tears in his eyes. He realized that his pain had become someone else's motivation. The same words that once broke him were now healing others. One afternoon, he received an invitation to speak at an English learning seminar in his city. He hesitated for a moment. Public speaking had always been his biggest fear. But then he remembered what his mentor, Mr. Harris, had said. The right time is now. So he accepted. The day of the event arrived. The hall was full of students, teachers, and young professionals. Daniel stood backstage, feeling his heart race. He took a deep breath and whispered to himself, you've been here before. You've faced worse. Go out there and speak your truth. When he walked on stage, the lights were bright and the room was silent. He looked at the audience and smiled. Hello, everyone, he began softly. A few years ago, I couldn't even introduce myself in English. I was afraid, shy, and full of excuses. But one day, I decided that enough was enough. I stopped blaming my circumstances and started working on myself. As he spoke, the room grew more and more silent. People leaned forward to listen. He talked about how he studied every morning, how he made mistakes, how people laughed at him. But he never gave up. He shared the story of the mentor who once told him, when you want success as badly as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And then he paused. You see, Daniel continued, we all have dreams, but dreams without action are nothing. I learned that success isn't about being lucky. It's about being consistent. Every small effort you make builds the person you're becoming. Don't waste your time comparing yourself to others. Don't let fear stop you. You are capable of much more than you think. He looked around the hall and saw people nodding, some even wiping their eyes. Your parents worked hard to give you a life better than theirs, he said. They believed in you before you believed in yourself. Now it's your turn to make them proud, not by being perfect, but by never giving up. When his speech ended, the audience rose to their feet and applauded loudly. Daniel felt overwhelmed. He had done it. The boy who once feared speaking English had now inspired hundreds with it. After the event, a young woman came to him with tears in her eyes. Sir, she said, I was about to give up learning English, but after hearing you, I'm going to try again. Daniel smiled and replied, don't try, do. One day you'll stand where I'm standing and tell your story too. That night, when Daniel reached home, he sat quietly on his balcony, watching the city lights. The wind was cool and the sky was filled with stars. He thought of his journey, the pain, the failures, the sacrifices, and the small victories that had built him piece by piece. He took out his old notebook again, now worn and faded, and wrote, when you believe in yourself, the world begins to believe in you too. Then he smiled. From that day onward, Daniel continued teaching, inspiring, and helping others grow. His videos reached millions, but more than fame, what mattered to him was a message that anyone, from anywhere, could change their life with the right mindset. Years later, people would still talk about him, the man who turned fear into confidence, doubt into strength, and words into power. Because Daniel's story wasn't just about learning English. It was about something deeper, about becoming who you were meant to be. And as he always said to his students before every class ended,